Short-term insurer Santam increased its interim dividend by a third after posting a jump in interim profit despite adverse weather conditions, including recent torrential rains in the Western Cape, driving up claims. The high claims frequency led to the group paying out 14.6 billion rand in claims, a slight increase from 14.2 billion last year. However, it achieved a 7% increase in gross written premium growth. For more, we are joined by CEO Tava Madzinga. Tava, thank you so much for your time. You've upped your interim dividend, but if you had to give us a sense of the core SA business in the context of this operating environment, where is the drag coming from?
Good afternoon, viewers, and thank you very much for this time. I think if you look at our results for the first half of the year, our earnings are significantly up on the prior year, largely driven by superior underwriting performance and also investment performance coming through in our business. But I think what we are seeing as a theme coming through is the impact of weather-related claims. You mentioned the Western Cape floods, large impact on the result for the first half of the year. But I think overall, significant uplift in earnings from last year. So we are certainly not in the eye of the storm that we found ourselves in last year this time. So certainly a much better environment from a weather-related perspective, but still a very difficult macroeconomic environment, and we expect that to persist into the second half of the year.
Is there a correlation between the power claims and the frequency of load shedding, and what actions have you had to embark on in order to deal with that on your side?
No, thank you very much. We've certainly seen an increase in load shedding, but I think on our part, the impact from power surge claims has been benign. We're in a space where we have taken some corrective underwriting actions, working together with clients and with our brokers towards mitigating this risk to a large extent. And so in terms of just the impact of power surge claims in this reporting season, it really has been negligible.
Let's talk about the My Way side of the business. So growth on that side is not necessarily where you want it to be. The initiatives that you've embarked on, are you seeing some kind of shift when you look at the My Way business, or is it taking time?
So we're quite excited about where we see My Way going. I think the business has been under pressure in the first half of the year, and I think that's predominantly as a result of the increased consumer pressure. So consumers are under affordability pressure, and I think you start to see that coming through in the performance of the My Way business. But I think on a go-forward basis, we are seeing a turnaround in that business. The sales are up. We are picking up a lot more customers, and we are increasing our visibility and presence within the My Way business. And so we do expect, with some of the initiatives which we've put through, which is really targeted towards more of an inbound and also targeting some of the SMEs, is that we are seeing growth starting to tick up. We've seen the commercial part of the business, which largely targets the small SMEs, grow by as much as 20%. And so we still do believe that there is growth and runway for the My Way business.
In an environment that you have described as highly competitive, what has that done in your ability to price yourself appropriately? And also, what does it mean for reaching those underwriting targets?
So I think, we're a very diversified business. So we operate all the way from small SMEs, personal lines businesses, direct businesses, all the way to the big corporate businesses. And we also write, close to 16% of our premiums outside of South Africa. And so we are really a large scale business, very diversified across multiple sectors. And that stood us in very good stead in terms of the results that you've seen in the first half of the year. But I think what we can say is that we've worked very closely with customers and clients, for example, to mitigate the impact of motor theft, car theft. We're asking our customers and clients to install certain tracker devices. And we've seen a drop, or rather a steep reduction in motor theft. And so you can see that again coming through in the results. But I think across the board, we do need to remain, quite vigilant around managing our underwriting risks, working with clients towards reducing the impact of certain exposures or certain risks. But I think across the board, work for us still to do in terms of just managing that into the future. But I think for the first half of the year, certainly a very good result against a very difficult macro backdrop.
With that said, in terms of prospects, you highlight here that the operating conditions are not expected to improve. With that background, what will you and the team be focusing on?
So typically we expect, in our business, it is cyclical. So the first half of the year tends to be quite dampened, with the, rainfall coming through. And, with the El Nino starting to come through, we do expect drier conditions in the second half of the year. So we are fairly optimistic that we will receive less rain, with less rain on the roads, less impact on property and flooding. And so we are fairly optimistic that cyclically we have seen that the second half of the year does tend to be much better than the first half of the year. But I think apart from that, we've also launched and gone out with a multi-channel model, which is we've restructured our business effectively to allow us to reach new customer segments that we have not traditionally reached. And so you've seen our partnership with MTN as a good example that allows us to bring the premium price point down and to reach new customers and consumers that have traditionally not been able to afford insurance. And so we're really focused on inclusive insurance so that we can widen our reach to customers across the board.
Tava, thank you so much for your time. That is Tava Madzinga, who is the CEO of Santam.